Welcome to the Taxman Show. We ask the questions to get all of your accounting, tax, and small business questions answered. Now here is your host, Albert Taxman Corey.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1 of the Taxman Show. My name is Albert Corey, but you can call me the Taxman. Since 1985, I've assisted my clients to save money on their tax returns and build their business. You see, I'm just like you. I started a very small accounting office filing only 50 returns in 1985. This year we filed over 4,600 personal and business returns. I've seen every type of business you can think of, from somebody who breeds lizards to selling sex toys and everything in between. Life in business is unscripted, so why should the podcast be this way? You see, you're always going to get my unedited, record only once. So you're going to get the real deal. If I stutter, I mumble. Right now I'm recording in my office, so if the door knocks or somebody comes in, you're going to get the real deal. But you see, to get to this level, I filed over 85,000 tax returns. This did not happen overnight. I had to go out and spend over $100,000 learning how to bring traffic to build my business. But not every program or mentor worked out. Many programs and mentors I used took my money and time. But guess what? That didn't stop me. I'm going to show you the tips and tricks of the trade so you don't have to travel the world and max out your credit cards and hours of training. We're going to show you how what I've been teaching our clients to save money on their tax returns and build their business. With over 35 years experience, I've seen it all. So now you don't have to spend the money. I was born in Pittsfield, Massachusetts in 1960 to immigrant parents. Dad's family were farmers from North Lebanon. Mom's parents had a fruit stand and sold Christmas trees in Pittsfield, Mass. We moved to Florida when I was 10. I graduated from University of South Florida in 1982. My dream was working in downtown Miami in a high office overlooking at the bay with my name on the door. The funny thing was, about 7-8 years later, that dream would come true. Okay, my parents got their dream when they bought a 10-unit motel in Miami. After 2 months of working of looking for work, my dad came knocking on my door at 7 o'clock in the morning. Hey, get up. I said, why, Dad? Because the maids didn't show up to work and we got to go clean their rooms. I said, Dad, I just graduated from school. He goes, I don't give a A. Everybody in the house works, so get up. So I said, okay. So I started cleaning the rooms in the motel. Somebody had to go do it, so I had to go. A few years later, my mom comes to me with a letter and says, here, sign here. I said, Mom, what do I got to sign? He goes, here, you got to pay taxes to the IRS. In 1984, at that time, I didn't know what the IRS was, the Internal Revenue Service. She goes, everybody's got to go pay taxes. But I said, Mom, you don't pay me. I don't work. I don't get a W-2 form. I don't get nothing. So anyways, that led me on a quest to never have this happen again. A few weeks later, I saw an ad for H&R Block, and they were looking for tax preparers. So I applied and I started work for them. I started working at a Sears store at International Mall that's now closed. Funny things in life is you always got to learn to pivot and change because you don't know what's going to happen. One day, somebody came to the desk and said, will you come to my house? And the manager said, sure, no problem. It's only $500. I said to myself, what? They're going to get $500 to go somebody's house? And they only pay me $4 an hour? That was my first aha moment. The ding, ding, ding. I get into my car, I rush home, and I tell my pops. I say, Pops, guess what? We're going to be rich. We're going to go out and we're going to go tax returns. And we're going to go make lots of money. Well, my immigrant pop says to me, my dad now tells me off in 2 languages. The languages, I cannot tell you those words here because this is a PG show. And he pretty much said, who in the F is going to go to you? There's H&R Block, there's CPAs, there's people who have been doing it a lot longer than you. And that's where my first aha moment came. I said to myself, you're right. Nobody's going to go to Albert Corey, but everybody will go to Coin Associates. That's where the taxman was born. So that's how the taxman name came out. Now, a few months later, back in the summer of 1985, I realized I had to go buy a computer. Why was this? See, in 1985, computers were novelties. Nobody had one. It was like buying a Rolls Royce, a Louis Vuitton purse, super expensive, and nobody had one. So I took my $5,000 I made at H&R Block, and I went and I bought a computer. This sucker was so big, man. It took me 2 trips in my little car to pick up the boxes. I mean, they were huge. So I go home, I set it up. Everything's working. Pops comes into my room and says, "Hey, what the hell is that?" So I told him it's a computer. Then I explained to him what a computer does. Remember, this is 1985. And then I told him, Dad, guess what? This is how we're going to go build doing taxes. And he said to me, first he asked me, how much did I spend? And I told him $5,000, which was everything I made in 1985. My bank account was 0 after that. He then, guess what, guys? Told me off again, not in one language, but 2 languages. And he didn't speak to me for 3 weeks because I bought a computer. What for? How come? You don't need this. Who's going to come to you? You know the story. How many of you have been told plenty of times in your life, you can't do it. They told you off and they laughed at you. All right. Remember, that was the first time in my life that I went and invested in myself. Guys, later you're going to realize that you always got to go out and invest on yourself. You got to go out and spend money to go learn, whether to go lose weight, get better at your job, and go do something. And a lot of times this means not necessarily always getting a college degree or a master's degree, just going to learn from other people. So now, why did I go buy a computer? Well, when I was working at H&R Block, okay, you had to get off. First, you did the interview. Then you figured out which forms you need. You had to get off your desk, go all the way back to the store, back to the back of the office, pull out the forms, all right? Then you have to go on, and start filling them out by hand, get a calculator, go after page after page after page. Guys, and today this is being shot on June of 2019. Nobody has ever done this by hand anymore, but I learned how to do it by hand. Then to myself, how am I going to have all these forms on hand if I had to do it myself? That's why I figured I have to go buy this computer. Why did I buy the computer? It's going to have all the forms. I don't have to go have thousands of forms. Everything will be with me. My handwriting was horrible. I'm scratching, I'm crawling, and it's going to be more accurate because now I don't have to sit there and calculate every return and move figures from page to page to page. All you millennials will never have to know about this because it's about filling out the forms. So that's why I went and bought the computer, because now it'd be more accurate, everything would be clean and be faster, and more accurate. And you just got to go out and take chances. And later in life, if you don't go out and make chances, guys, it will catch up to you. I heard this about every day when people come in my office and they say, hey, look, why don't you go open up a corporation? Why don't you go this? And they're so scared to spend that $200, $300 to get started because they're afraid, I'm going to lose my money. If you don't take chances, it ain't going to happen. Later I realized that some of my roadblocks in life were always blessings in disguise, because it always led me new ways to figure out new paths to lead me how to get it right. Remember, it took Thomas Edison 341 failures to discover the light bulb. Okay, at what point you're saying to myself, man, you're the tax man. Why are you talking about all this stuff? Because, guys, along my path, I had to learn certain things. I'm also a business coach. So along my journey as a tax guy, we're going to go through all the different things you need to go out and build your business. I'm also going to tell you stories, how the different tax laws and how certain stories, how it's going to help you. Because remember, stories are the way it's going to get you involved, and you got to know how to go out and get it done. And if I wasn't making all these steps, you wouldn't be watching this podcast today. Now, but we're also going to have a good time. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm also going to learn how to make you save some money and build your business. You see, my clients always love me because I can relate to them. Because I'm a licensed real estate broker in Florida. I've bought houses. I've sold houses. I do rentals. I sold on eBay. I've sold on Amazon. So I did a whole bunch of things. I had a whole bunch of businesses also along the way. From selling comic books to, selling comic books, Pogs, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You name it, I've sold it. I also bought and sold stocks. So when you come into my office, okay, I probably already can answer all your questions. Why? Because either I've already done it myself, like selling properties and businesses, or I had clients who are already in your industry, so I can relate. All right, and I made over $50,000 on eBay, so I know my online business. Did the MLMs, did all that. By the way, if you want to know what people think of me, all you got to do is Google Albert Corey, Hialeah, Florida, and you can see what my clients have to say. I have 134 reviews with a 4.8 star rating. Don't ask me, just check the reviews, and social media will always tell you the truth. If you have any questions, small business or tax questions, you could always email us at albert@1040w2.com. You could always send me a message, direct message on Facebook, and put Taxman Podcast, just so I know where it came from. Always call our office at 305-823-9228. I'm around all the time. You can just call me. We're on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what's up. Remember, the Taxman always will answer your questions to make sure you save money, guys. Talk to you soon, and can't wait to launch my next episode 2 next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Taxman Show. If you have any questions, please leave it below or email it to albert@1040w2.com. Remember, sharing is caring. Please follow us on all social media platforms.